beat that pretty hard. We know where we're at, so you're making a motion to close? You have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll also vote aye since we only have 3 present. We will open the public hearing for North Judson Sanpere Public School. The information has been published on time, and is there anybody here that has any input, any questions about North Judson Sanpere School?
Mr. Pearman,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ritchie and I are available for any questions.
Is there any questions?
No.
Do you have anything you'd like to add or anything? Or are you good?
No, the budget's very similar to last year.
Yeah.
I did want to say that in September, when we come back for the approval, that at that same time, we'll be asking for that reduction in rainy day to bring it to 0 because we have not spent any of that money.
Okay, no problem. Sounds good. Yeah, I didn't see anything that was drastically different than what's been done in the past. Would someone like to make a motion to close?
So moved.
We have a motion from Brad. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second it.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Stark County Airport will now open the public hearing for the Stark County Airport Authority. We have Charlie representing and present. We had a little bit of discussion. Sounds like things are moving forward with the runway with, I guess you would call it a telemetry device sort of, or a landing
Right.
device.
That's being done now under grant.
And there's 2 big new hangars out there.
Yeah, I think the helicopter's been going pretty well for emergency services, or?
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, Jim Hicks just put up a corporate hangar, and then the airport theirs is 8,000 square feet. We're in discussions with a fellow that owns a jet. That's the reason we put it up. So, and just, he may want 4,000 feet, he may want the whole thing, we don't know. But we're trying to upgrade the facility, which will get us more expensive aircraft. And quite
That's
frankly,
exciting.
I'm surprised the amount of Jet A that we're selling. I mean, you know, it's amazing for not having any jet based here in reality. So it's all good.
I know where some of the low rate goes. Well, we want to thank Mr. Weaver for making the travel also to meet with us. Is there any discussion from the public or the council further on the airport authority? Would someone like to make a motion to close the hearing for the Stark County Airport Authority? Okay, and a second from Brad. All those in favor, aye. Aye.
So we're done.
You're done.
Thank you. Unless you wanted more, but
No.
I think you've always done it.
This way.
You've always done a good job of keeping us abreast of what's been going on with it. So I think we're excited about, the
I can tell you that these are unofficial things from the FAA. It looks like the project after that would be to enlarge the aircraft parking area.
oh, that would be
Because
nice.
it's too small
It is.
to get really jets in there, so it would really increase the size of it.
Yeah, well, the thing too is, like you said, we're gonna get more consumers, using it, that'll beef it up. We're still hopeful for at least one good sized business that might have a corporate presence there.
Yeah.
We always keep hoping, hopefully maybe some farmers can buy the solar, make some big money.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
We will now open the public hearing for the Stark County Solid Waste District. Is there any discussion or any feedback on what was supported and reported to Gateway and distributed by the auditor? Nothing from the public, anything from anybody on Zoom? Do we even have anybody now in North Judson's gone? Okay. We have a motion from Brad. Is there a second to close the hearing for the
I'll second.
Waste District? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. I will tell the council that I did have a discussion with her though about just re-looking at garbage service. I posted that thing on Facebook and then I was surprised how many people commented. They raised my garbage with Republic to $113. I don't know who you have, but I guess, and it
That's who we,
fluctuates.
that's who we had.
It's crazy. And then they couldn't give, but you know how much it is? My mom's house is just out of Stark County in Hannah on 39. It's $53 there. So I feel like in Stark County, we're getting burned. I mean,
Yeah.
in a county that's theoretically more poor and they have no explanation, there's all these extra charges on there for Stark County. I guess some of the other ones don't, but what I was talking to her about was maybe relooking at the thing about possibly county disposal and curbside, recycling bowls, or at least negotiating a county-wide better deal, so, but I haven't followed up with it. We're just giving you guys a heads up on that. We will open up the public hearing for the Bailey Cox Newsom Conservancy. Is there any discussion, remonstrance, anything that anybody would like to add?
Got a lady at my office, I'm sorry, I couldn't get away.
That's all right,
Be
you're done.
sorry, you're okay. Did you have anything though that you wanted to point out or bring up or?
No. I know that I'm gonna go out for bid next year, that's why I increased it, so.
Okay. What about anything else functionally or?
Well, I did look into curbside.
We were just talking about that because I was just telling them, I haven't had a chance to follow up with you because I talked to Republic.
Right.
And my bill, this is just me, but I'm finding out others are having the same thing with Republic, $113. And then they said they couldn't lower it. Then the other day they did lower it a couple bucks. But I have, just in Hannah, I have a piece of property. It's 53 there. So what I'm still interested in, and we need to get together is, at the very least, if we can't do curbside, because it sounded like on Facebook, a lot of people are actually interested in curbside garbage and or recycling, if you can put them together. Because I guess they slipped when I was talking to corporate Republic. I guess in some counties, they actually do curbside recycling. Because LaPorte County does their own, but I guess Republic does, they have,
Republic
Equipment.
does LaPorte.
so they are doing LaPorte again.
They do LaPorte and it's $48, but LaPorte told me that they're going to have to increase it because they can't function with $48. And I said, you don't require garbage. And she said, no. And I said, well, what do you do about all the garbage that's going in your recycling? And she says, that's Republic's problem. So when I talked to Republic, they told me that they're gonna have to raise their rates because of all of the
I
garbage.
talked to
going in.
Republic too. That's the problem you have. When you don't do garbage and recycling curbside, it fails.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
I know Marshall County has an ordinance, and I tried about 15 years to get an ordinance through that if you're a waste hauler in our county, that you offer recycling, curbside recycling also. And that's the only reason why it happens in Marshall County is because they have that ordinance. And
Do you have a copy of the ordinance?
I can get it, yeah.
Guys, I say I can probably get it from somebody. If you've got somebody you can get it from, let's get that so that way we can get together with the council. I think that's, and the commissioners also, but I think that's something that we would be interested in as a county. Like I said, it sounds like the feedback is very positive for that also. I mean, there's just too much spread and funny
Well,
charges.
and I don't know if like the council or the commissioners or who, if you sat down with all the haulers in your county, if you could get them to set a rate.
Well, we do towing on a rotary, like on the fire service, and emergency services, and each, they get a rotary or whatever. I mean, other entities are used to having something with the county that's, sort of negotiated and follows some kind of structure. So I think in fairness, that would be one way to do it, is to get a bid. And then, hey, if the other company wants to, still charge more, whatever. But I think it's unfair. Like I said, I own a piece of property that is 2 miles out of Stark County and it's half price. I have a problem with that. And I feel like we're being discriminated against as a county when these other counties, again, they're bigger counties, they have bigger budgets, but that's where negotiation comes in. And sometimes that's where the government can help
Right.
with a little
And-
extra
and
pressure.
What I get all the time is because we're rural.
Yeah.
Well, but why is your rate different than my rate and Brad's rate and whoever else?
Why does Stark County have a COVID charge and the other counties? I'm
Right.
just saying, like all these funny things that come up. So let's revisit it. I knew we couldn't really come up with something, tomorrow, but I think let's keep it going. And I think that ordinance would be great to look at. I was going to bring it up at the last commissioners meeting and didn't get a chance to let them know that we had talked, but I think it's definitely something worthwhile. And I don't think we can do it through our own district and handle our own garbage pickup, although some counties have done that too. But, start somewhere and keep it growing. I mean, the people burning garbage in their backyards and throwing garbage on the side of the road and just dumping it, a lot of those things become alleviated as well when you make the trash part of it more accessible
Yeah,
too.
because I burned because it went up so bad.
Yeah, if you could just start with, having I know like there's a independent company, Smithers,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they charge like $15 a month.
Yeah.
Well, how can they do that? And they're still taking it to landfill. And I know that they break down all their cardboard and everything, and if they don't take it to Plaskett County, they bring it to us.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there has to be some kind of regulation on the garbage part of it.
Yeah.
And I know that Winnemac did have curbside recycling, and they were doing it through the city, and they dropped it because
Yeah.
they couldn't keep it up because they didn't have the money.
Right.
And in recycling, I mean, the commodity part of it is down, but
Right. Well, and I think it can also help fund other things like like in Elkhart where they separate all the paint and then you can even buy paint, stuff like that. I mean, I think there's an opportunity to do something better here, but obviously keeping the sides of the road and the yards clean is important. We also do farming here. That's our big industry. So we don't want people putting chemicals in the ground and paint in the ground and oil and things like that. I mean, it helps promote that as well, and keeping
well,
our soil healthy.
we just did have our
Yeah,
environmental day.
yes,
So,
yeah. So I mean, but I mean, we can, if there are ways to do that, we can increase that, and then make that more available. I mean, I think there's an opportunity there. So let's keep talking about it.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Did I already open up the hearing for the Bailey Cox Newsom? She walked in. Was there any input, remonstrance, discussion about the Bailey Cox Newton Conservancy?
No, sir.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion. Please.
Got a motion from Kay. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And then we are going to the public hearing for the Coons Lake Conservancy.
Marty Wolf. I'm
Hi,
in charge
Marty.
of the Conservancy District
Yes.
Board. So I'm just here to field any questions.
How are things going with the shelter that seemed like a lot of people opposed out at Coons Lake? And I know that's separate from this, but just
It's
out of curiosity.
I haven't actually heard.
I thought it was kind of a nice idea, really, myself. I
The
mean,
people that lived around it, I know I went to that deal where they brought in the sheriff and they were
they were
really
very much
opposed to it.
against it, yeah, because one person would be hanging out there. I mean,
Yeah.
We just need him. So I was just
It's-
curious, but
I live right down from there, so to me, 6 in one, half dozen in the other, but I know the people who live there have a lot of problems with noise as it is. And their concern is to put that shelter up, there'd be even more people, out there at 3 o'clock in the morning making noise. That's what.
I guess a lot of it has to do with showing Coons Lake some love too. I mean, there's so much emphasis on Bass Lake,
Right.
and there isn't a whole lot of things like lake stuff for county people to do anymore because it's all absorbed by the city, big city. And so, but anyways, nothing about the Conservancy.
Budgets were going for the same amount of money as last year.
Yeah, we looked at them and
Any reason to think that that's gonna change, so.
all right, well, stay in touch with us if you
Okay.
need something. Is there anything else from the public, the council? Is there a motion? A motion from Brad. Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there any other business? I'm glad she showed because that reminded me I wanted to talk to you guys about the garbage. Is there a motion to close the meeting? Someone have a motion? Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, guys.
Actually.